Well, Audrey joins me again.
Yes.
And how appropriately, because we're talking about one of your favorite topics.
And yours too, my darling.
Yes, manners, mealtime manners, and the trouble with soup and bread. Today we'll tackle the topic of proper table etiquette. Joining us with expert advice is certified etiquette and protocol consultant Lisa Grotts. Lisa, good to see you. Welcome to the show. Boy, can we use your help?
I'm here.
Now, look, we've got the table sort of set. So we've got two soups and we've got some bread here. What's the first thing we should do? How do we get started?
Let's just dig in. So the first thing we do whenever we sit down to a table is put our napkin on our lap, right? We don't want to spill any of the soup, especially since we have tomato soup today
that's right.
on our lap.
That would make a terrible spill.
So we have two kinds of soups we're going to start with. And normally when you sit down to eat, you will be able to tell exactly what kind of soup you're eating by looking at the spoon. Now, of course, we normally don't have two soups, but today we're going to try them both.
Okay.
The round, deep spoon is for the broth, and this would be used for the broth.
Ah, round, deep spoon for the broth, okay.
And the long, narrow spoon is used for cream soup.
Oh.
So how it works is the soups are eaten the exact same way. However, a broth is not messy. If your spoon hits the table for whatever reason, it's going to be clear. However, with cream soup, if you spill, it will be messy. So there is a plate underneath. So when you're eating cream soup, in between bites and when you're finished, the spoon goes on the side of the plate.
Okay, in between bites, side of the plate, not back down in the bowl.
But with the broth, you would absolutely leave it inside.
Exactly.
Just like that.
Right.
And when they're both finished, you leave it in the 4 o'clock position on a clock, 4:20, so the waiter non-verbally knows it's okay to clear your plate.
Okay.
Now, I've got a question.
Okay.
Because I see people eating soup coming towards them.
Yes.
And isn't it correct to use it away from you?
Yes. I am big on the golden rule of all my etiquette classes.
Right.
Do unto others as you would do unto them. So for soup, the golden rule of etiquette is you always spoon soup away from you. Now, I know that's counterintuitive because your mouth is here and you're spooning away.
Right.
You just don't want to look like you're shoveling it in your mouth.
Exactly.
So you basically spoon away from you and gently glide it in your mouth.
Okay.
And also, when you are eating it, you don't want to shove the whole spoon in your mouth or you're going to choke. You want to eat it from the side of the spoon.
And no slurping.
No slurping. Definitely no slurping.
And if you do spill, I mean, if you make a spill on your lap or on someone else, heaven forbid.
Well, heaven forbid. And that sometimes happens if the soup is too hot and you blow on it. You never want to blow on your soup because it's going to splurt all over. It's going to burn you. It's going to ruin the table. If soup is too hot, you basically just want to skim from the top to kind of cool it off. Never from the bottom because that's typically where the heat permeates.
Gotcha.
So just take it from the top and just a little bit. You can always have seconds.
Okay.
So just take a little bit.
And if you spill on your napkin, I just hide it. I just fold the napkin again.
Just keep folding it.
I do the same thing. I do the same thing.
I don't want to ask you on the napkin. Is it rude if you're wearing black? Is it rude to ask for a dark napkin?
You know, it's not rude. I'm finding that a lot of restaurants now, you don't even have to ask. They automatically look and see what the guests are wearing, the patrons are wearing, and they'll give you a black versus white, which I think makes so much sense. Because let's face it, the napkin gets really soiled.
Yeah.
Mustard, ketchup, lipstick, whatever.
Let's talk about bread. You're sitting at a crowded table, maybe at a banquet, 8 or 10 people at the table, and you're all close together.
Yes.
Isn't your bread plate supposed to be the one on your left?
It is. Okay, so here's
because my bread plate's on my right here.
Oh, well, it's supposed to be on your left, just for TV. Okay. So here's a great little tip. From the camera, it might look differently, but if you do your fingers like this, the left hand makes a B for bread, the right hand makes a D for drink. So you always know when you go out, you don't have to put it in the table, you can do it in your lap so no one sees and go, okay, my bread plate's supposed to be to the left, my drinks are to the right.
There you go.
Spencer, this is so true at hotels when they preset everything and you get confused and then, you know, you started the domino effect and everyone's using the wrong thing. So for today, we put the roll in your plate. It might not always be in your bread plate. Oftentimes, you're going to have a bread basket, such as this. So the golden rule of bread is you only take one at a time to leave enough for everybody else at the table. But also, when you take your bread, you only take one bite at a time and butter one bite at a time. This is really, really important. You never want to break your bread in half, butter the whole thing like you would toast or bagel at breakfast. You want to break it with your fingers and then tear off just a little piece if you can. So these are fresh, but
tear off a little piece.
Off just one piece at a time. And then eat it that way.
Exactly.
Now, we have the butter as well. Today we have a little ramekin of butter. You will either get a butter ramekin where you would take off a little bit and you would actually put it in your plate first, just like this, on the side of the plate, and then pass it. Or you might get the little foils, you know, that you have to undo, and you would take that off and slide it to the side of your plate, or have a butter ball. Either way, you never take your butter from the dish. You take it from the side of your plate.
I've got a question on the bread. I see a lot of people that go to the basket and they break the bread. They don't want the whole piece, and they just break it in half.
No.
Bad, right?
Absolutely. Once you touch it, you own it. You take the piece. If I'm looking around going, oh, I touched it, then I'm going to have to take
yours.
these. That's yours. You own it.
That's right.
And
you always pass the basket around counterclockwise, or to the right, to your right.
Food is served on your left, and it's always passed to the right.
To the right.
Bread, salt and pepper, butter, everything.
And who knew that bread had a golden rule? The golden rule of bread. Lisa has so much more information for us. Great tips. New book coming out in May, by the way.
Yes, A Traveler's Passport to Etiquette will be in bookstores in 3 weeks.
Okay, we have information on the book on our website. We have more of your etiquette tips on our website, because we can't cover all the etiquette that we need in 5 minutes. And coming up, thank you so much.
Thank you.